Welcome to all on another episode of Be a Man. Today, we have got a very famous and brilliant personality, and his face and his patriotic persona are very much familiar to you all. Major General Gagandeep Bakshi. He is a retired Indian Army officer. He was awarded by many prestigious awards for his work in Army. Some are like Sena Medal, Vishishta Seva Medal, and many more. He's often visible in the prime time news channel in debates and talk shows. So welcome you, Dr. GD Bakshi, in our talk show, Be a Man.
Thank you. Thank you for having.
First of all, it's really great pleasure to have you today, sir. So let me ask you about the Be a Man definition, how you carry out this definition when you hear this word. As we often see, media has projected a man image is like a macho man, bodybuilding and all, but they often avoid to skip to show the other side of a man. And I would say half human representation. So please share what's your opinion about this.
Excellent question. When we joined the National Defense Academy, what they say is we make men out of boys, right? I joined at the age of 16 and a half. Some of my comrades joined at 15, 15 and a half, 16, so that's how young we were. But, and we were steeled, we were physically, ground absolutely and toughened up to become men and toughened up mentally, emotionally, spiritually, to
Right.
choose the harder right instead of the easier wrong. Every morning when we used to pray, we used to have that prayer. We said, "Oh God, help us to choose the harder right instead of the easier wrong." Whenever we are in doubt, whenever we are in quandary, make us men. And in every cabin of every cadet was a poem by Rudyard Kipling. I wonder if you've read it. It's called If. And if ka, the last two lines were, if you can put all your earnings at one turn of the pitch and toss, lose all and not breathe a word about your loss, then you will be a man, my son. So a man is able to take it on the chin, to deal with adversity, to deal with frightful fear and all which you will face on the battlefield, death and dying. I have been on the battlefield, people to my right, people to my left have been killed. I have seen a boy shot up in the stomach with his intestines spilling out and holding them back with his own hands so that the doctors can stitch him up. So that's what being a man all about is in the military definition. But very few people would understand that the military definition of the macho man, the military definition of man, actually one of the best definitions comes from, the Japanese samurai tradition.
Right.
The samurai is supposed to be skilled not only in the martial arts of swordsmanship, jiu-jitsu, karate, and breaking a man's neck with his own hand, but also in the soft arts like poetry, like koan, and breaking a man's neck with his own hand, but also in the soft arts like poetry, like koan, like
Right.
music. He is skilled in both the soft and the hard art. And in the Indian tradition is something very specific. The tradition is Sant Sipahi, soldier, saint. Guru Gobind Singh was a soldier saint. You can't have a man more ethically correct than he was. You can't have a man who sacrificed all his four sons for the cause that he believed in. All his four sons, right? Two of them were, bricked up alive into a wall, and two others died separately fighting for the cause that their father stood for. We have Maharana Pratap, he was a soldier saint. We have Shivaji, he was a soldier saint who respected women. He worshipped his mother, he worshipped the Bhavani, he worshipped the goddess, he worshipped the Dev. That is the Indian tradition of soldier. Sant, Sipahi, soldier, saint. So the entire perspective of what being a man is all about, it's not just murdering, killing, being very strong. Being very strong without a moral compass.
So, sir, here again we are hearing about how, as a man in army, who are saving and protecting the women, whereas why do you think why women are still lacking representation in combat? Whereas we found the Supreme Court gave a go ahead the female army officers to serve in combat role permission. Do you think this kind of permission, this kind of role will create more protection by creating such kind of major positions of female who is in combat service?
Certainly women are in the police now, armed police, women are in the armed forces. Right now they are mostly in non-combat jobs, but in the Air Force they have become fighter pilots. That is the ultimate that you can become in combat. You are a knight of the air, and everything depends upon your skill. And a woman pilot may just beat any man. If she is skilled enough, if she is practiced enough, she can do that. So that is how things are changing. Girls are learning taekwondo, girls are learning karate, jiu-jitsu, girls are doing wrestling, girls are doing boxing and winning medals in the Olympics.
Yes, that's
true.
Who
has not heard of Mary Kom? Who has not heard of Mary Kom? I met that feisty young lady, and even after her pregnancy, even after she had delivered a child, she again boxed and won the gold medal. So women are that tough in India from the very beginning. Women have been fighting alongside their husband. Who has not heard of Rani Jhansi? Who has not heard of Rani Lakshmi Bai? Who has not heard of the Gondwana queen of Madhya Pradesh, Rani Durgavati? But they have picked up the sword and fought, led their armies into battle. And when Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose in the Second World War, he had raised the Azad Hind Fauj to fight the British. He had raised a regiment called the Rani of Jhansi Regiment of girls who took part in the fighting in Burma. Israeli girls take part in fighting. Russian girls have taken part in fighting. French girls took part in the resistance. So that's not such a this thing. You see, we gender stereotypes are breaking. The ancient Indian society had a very free culture for women. Women could be educated, women could become rishis, women could become great scholars, women could become queens, women could hold very high positions in society. Nowadays, you don't find any child marriages except one odd in some remote village. It's all changing. And you spoke very well of technology. We have CCTV cameras in all schools, in all colleges, on our road. So you can't get away now. If you want to go back to the 10th century, 11th, 12th, 13th century, the police will catch you and make an example out of it. You will be caught on some CCTV camera or the other. It is at every street corner. Right? It's at every street corner. Technology is coming in. Education is coming in. Mindsets are changing. And it is just because our population is so large that relatively it, looks higher than there. But if you, like I said, even in Europe and in America, you may say there are no rapes. The frequency is perhaps higher than in India. We are deliberately, as a media policy, making sure every single case of rape is highlighted. Not the victim, but the perpetrators are named and shamed. So that attitudes change. Capital punishment we are giving power. Capital punishment, death penalty we have given.
अभी जैसे हमने बोला मीडिया में name and shame
death penalty.
we do purposely in media name and shame. How you find our current, in political system, the government is taking action, because we are seeing a lot of positive actions are taking, they are taking for these
Oh,
things too.
oh, oh, huge amount of positive action has been taken. Educate our children, educate
Yes.
not just the girl child in her defense and protection, also the male child on his attitude towards women, not as objects, but as, sisters, mothers, in that kind of a way. We have huge changes which are coming in. And like I said, uh, already a lot has changed. A lot has changed. And the rest will also change. We will revert to the civilization we were in the Vedic time, Mauryan time, when women were the safest in India.
When we talk about all these issues, as in the end, you are a important and a major, who served in army, who has created a huge impact on the people in through your voice. How you want to create a message for our youth and who are listening and watching us, that what can be a good meaning of be a man?
Be a man. That's a great thing to aspire towards. All that I'm trying to highlight is what kind of a man. I would say like a samurai. I would say like the Indian tradition of a Sant Sipahi. Very hard on the exterior like a coconut, but like a coconut, the inside is filled with sweet water of kindness, compassion, humanity, kindness towards the weak. And those who want to fight their nation, defend their women, defend their country, and yet they are kind-hearted. Yet they are
so
good at the
one more
martial
thing,
arts.
sir, I would like to add in
That's the
your
top class.
in your experience and in your meaning. I would like to add one more thing. How you see contribution of women in your life, as maybe like from your mother or wife or sister or any other role. I would like to ask you, as if you would like to share some maybe story or some incident that you found those has really impacted you and changed in your life, as you said, coconut inside the sweet water. Would you like to bring something?
You see, whatever culture I have inherited is from my mother. She was an artist who had learned, done her BA in fine arts and in Indian classical music. She would sing at home on the tanpura, sing the bhajan, sing the ragas, and I think everything that is to learn about our cultural heritage we imbibed from her. She would make sure that we ate and we drank plenty of milk, never tasted tea till the time I left home for the NDA. And that's what if I'm just one in sort of six, it is because of the diet that my mother gave me, cultural and physical diet. Coming to my wife and my daughter and my sister is a PhD in the history of art. She's a sculptor, she's a painter, she's an artist. She taught, for years in colleges and other places. My daughter is is another PhD in the history of art. She's a painter. She's now running a children. Was an MA in the history of art. I spent most of my life, in the battlefield. All alone, she brought up the family. So after I retired, I was given a lifetime achievement award. So I have TSR Subramaniam, Cabinet Secretary, Mr. Qureshi, who is the Election Commissioner of India. So I was very surprised. I was just a two-star general. So as to how I was included, but then they called me on the stage and they said, General, you served 37 years in the army. I said 41. If you include 3 years of training at the NDA, one at the IMA. So say, okay, in your 41 years in the army, what was your greatest achievement? So I said my greatest achievement was staying alive because I went through so many battles. People on my right and left got shot up, wounded, killed, mutilated. But I came out without a scratch. And do you know why? It is because of the prayers of my wife and my daughter. That is the greatest tribute that I can pay to my wife, who single-handedly brought up the family. When I was away fighting the country, wars, who brought up the children, who gave them their foundation in life, right? And it is the foundation that they are carrying.